Good evening. This is All India Radio. I'm Abhishek Mukhopadhyay and with me is Saira Mujtaba with the evening news. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to embark on a two-day visit to Gujarat from tomorrow to inaugurate several development projects. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh holds bilateral talks with Tanzanian counterpart Dr. Stergomena Lawrence Tax in New Delhi, asserts India-Tanzania partnership will continue to grow over coming decades. Agriculture Minister Narendra Singh Tomar asks agriculture graduates to work towards bringing change in the lives of farmers. Government making necessary policy changes to strengthen MSME sector, says Union Minister Dr. Jitendra Singh. Centre conducts door-to-door screening for tuberculosis in over 68,000 tribal villages under Ashwasan campaign. Justice UU Lalit to assume charge as the Chief Justice of India tomorrow. Veteran Congress leader Ghulam Nabi Azad resigns from the primary membership of the party. UGC declares 21 universities as fake, highest number of fake institutions functioning in Delhi. In cricket, Asia Cup kicks off in Dubai tomorrow. Sri Lanka to take on Afghanistan in the opening match. And in Durand Cup football, Hyderabad beat Chennai by 3-1 in Imphal. Jamshedpur defeat FC Goa 1-0 in Kolkata. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will pay a two-day visit to Gujarat tomorrow. During the visit, Mr. Modi will inaugurate several development projects in Ahmedabad, Gandhinagar and Kutch. Our correspondent has filed this report.
On the first day of his visit, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will participate in the Khadi Utsav at Sabarmati Riverfront in Ahmedabad, and the PM will address the weavers on the occasion. Thousands of weavers from across the state will weave the spinning wheel together at the event. Next day, PM will inaugurate and perform groundbreaking ceremonies for various projects in Kutch, including Smriti Wan, which is a memorial built atop of Gujio Hill near Bhuj in the memory of victims of 2001 Gujarat earthquake. Prime Minister would also address a gathering at Kutch University ground in Bhuj. Later in the day, PM will preside over a function at Mahatma Mandir in Gandhinagar, which has been organized to commemorate the 40 years of Maruti Suzuki in India. Aparna Khul, Air News, Ahmedabad.
Defence Minister Rajnath Singh today held a bilateral meeting with Tanzanian Minister of Defence and National Service Dr. Stergomena Lawrence Tax in New Delhi. After the meeting, Defence Minister Rajnath Singh said there is immense scope to boost defence and military-to-military cooperation between both the countries. He expressed confidence that India-Tanzania partnership will continue to grow over the coming decades, taking the bilateral relations to greater heights. He said both the leaders reviewed the full range of India-Tanzania defence ties. Mr. Singh said India and Tanzania share the same strategic space and India considers Tanzania as a major Western Indian Ocean player. Earlier, Dr. Tax inspected the Tri-Service Guard of Honour. She also laid wreath and paid homage to the fallen heroes at the National War Memorial in New Delhi.
Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman met U.S. Deputy Treasury Secretary Wally Adeyemo in New Delhi today. The two sides exchanged views on issues of global economy and financial sector. In a tweet, the Ministry of Finance said the two leaders discussed India's G20 presidency in 2023 as well as areas of cooperation for continued and enhanced India-US partnership. Steel Minister Jyotiraditya Scindia has said that the production capacity of steel has increased by 50% to 155 million tons per annum in the last 8 years. Mr. Scindia was speaking after inaugurating International Conference on Resource Efficiency and Circular Economy in the mineral and metal sector in New Delhi today. He said the country, which was a net importer a decade ago, has today transformed itself to become a net exporter.
The world is witnessing a huge depletion of all types of natural resources. And in such an environment, a circular economy is the demand of the world. India has changed tremendously. We are the world's 7th largest economy. Steel is that metal which has the most tremendous amount of demand across the length and breadth of the country. And India has travelled a long journey. A country that was a net importer has today transformed itself to becoming a net exporter. A country that was the 4th largest producer of steel in the world is today the world's second largest producer of steel.
Union Minister Dr. Jitendra Singh has called for linking up startups with micro, small and medium enterprises, MSME sector. He said the government is taking all measures, including necessary policy changes, to strengthen the MSME sector. Addressing the 8th India International MSME and Startup Summit and Expo in New Delhi today, Dr. Singh said that MSME sector has played an important role in shaping the Atmanirbhar Bharat, and the government has substantially increased budget to strengthen this sector in the last 8 years. The minister also informed that the government is encouraging unique local products to reach the global markets, which in turn will help strengthen the economy. The minister said that the launch of Startup India in 2015 by Prime Minister Narendra Modi had opened floodgates of opportunities for youth to experiment with new ideas and create new jobs. Agriculture Minister Narendra Singh Tomar has asked the graduates of Agriculture Extension Management to work towards bringing change in the lives of farmers. The minister was addressing the 6th convocation at the National Institute of Agriculture Extension Management, MANAGE, at Rajendranagar in Hyderabad. Mr. Tomar said the government is giving top priority to agriculture, and as a result the sector strengthened the country's economy during COVID pandemic. Referring to Krishi Chanakya building, which he inaugurated earlier, the minister said such facilities will help taking agri startups forward. On the occasion, the minister presented certificates to over 200 students who completed their course at the MANAGE.
Union Minister Dr. Jitendra Singh today reviewed the preparations for the Swachhta Campaign 2.0 to be held from the 2nd to the 31st of October. The government announced the Swachhta Campaign 2022 along with a special campaign for disposal of pending matters in central ministries and departments from 2nd October to the 31st of October on the lines of the campaign that was held last year. The Special Campaign 2.0 will focus on outstation offices in addition to the ministries and departments and their attached offices. The Cabinet Secretary has written to all secretaries of Union Government seeking their personal involvement for the success of the campaign. The Cabinet Secretary further advised all secretaries to issue appropriate instructions to the officers and organizations under their ministries to implement the Special Campaign 2.0 in a befitting manner. The Department of Administrative Reforms and Public Grievances will be the nodal department and oversee implementation of the Special Campaign 2.0. The DARPG has issued detailed guidelines for the implementation and monitoring of the special campaign. The government has undertaken various steps to encourage research and development, innovation and to develop apex-level institutes for education and research in homeopathy. Minister of Ayush Sarbanand Sonowal stated this while visiting the National Institute of Homeopathy NIH at Narendra in New Delhi today. He said the National Policy on Health envisages inter alia mainstreaming of Ayush in healthcare and also to integrate these systems in education and research in all the tiers of healthcare delivery. Our correspondent reports that this institute in the national capital is a satellite institute of the National Institute of Homeopathy in Kolkata and will be the first of its kind to be established in northern India. NIH in Narendra is being constructed at a cost of 287 crore rupees and will also function as an international collaboration center for global promotion and research in the homeopathy system.
The Ministry of Tribal Affairs and the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare under its Ashwasan campaign screened over 1 crore persons in over 68,000 villages. The Ashwasan campaign started in January this year in Nandurbar district of Maharashtra for finding active cases for tuberculosis in 174 tribal districts of India under the ambit of the Tribal TB Initiative. Recently, a national conclave was held at the National Tribal Research Institute in New Delhi to disseminate the learnings of the 100-day Ashwasan campaign and the Tribal TV Initiative. Addressing the event, Joint Secretary, Ministry of Tribal Affairs, Dr. Nawaljit Kapoor said the Ashwasan campaign brought together about 2 lakh community influencers, including tribal leaders, tribal healers, self-help groups and youth in the tribal areas. He added that data indicates that the tribal communities are more vulnerable to respiratory diseases and TB compared to other population groups. As a way forward to mark 75 years of India's independence, 75 high-burden tribal districts have been selected for focus interventions in the coming months. The Supreme Court today called for an expert committee and an all-party meeting to discuss the issue related to the freebies offered by political parties ahead of elections. A petition had sought for deregistration of political parties who offer freebies during and after elections. Chief Justice N.V. Ramanna said there can be no denying the fact that in electoral democracy, the true power lies with the electorate. He said a 3-judge bench would decide on a petition seeking the reconsideration of a 2013 judgment in a similar case. The order had said that free TVs or laptops announced during elections is not a corrupt practice and is related to directive principles of state policy for welfare of citizens.
Justice U.U. Lalit will assume charge as the Chief Justice of India tomorrow. Justice Lalit will have a brief tenure as he will demit office in November this year. Meanwhile, for the first time in history, the Apex Court has begun live streaming its proceedings today. The Supreme Court's E-Committee, headed by its sitting judge, Justice Dhananjay Y. Chandrachud, had been working on a proposal to launch an exclusive platform for live streaming court proceedings. The E-Courts project is an ambitious initiative to implement the use of information and technology in the country's judiciary. You are listening to the Evening News on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to embark on a 2-day visit to Gujarat from tomorrow to inaugurate several development projects. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh holds bilateral talks with Tanzanian counterpart Dr. Stergomena Lawrence Tax in New Delhi, asserts India-Tanzania partnership will continue to grow over the coming decades. Agriculture Minister Narendra Singh Tomar asks agriculture graduates to work towards bringing change in the lives of farmers. Government making necessary policy changes to strengthen MSME sector, says Union Minister Dr. Jitendra Singh. Centre conducts door-to-door screening for tuberculosis in over 68,000 tribal villages under Ashwasan campaign. Justice U.U. Lalit to assume charge as Chief Justice of India tomorrow. Veteran Congress leader Ghulam Nabi Azad resigns from primary membership of party. UGC declares 21 universities as fake, highest number of fake institutions functioning in Delhi. In sports, in cricket, Asia Cup kicks off in Dubai tomorrow. Sri Lanka to take on Afghanistan in the opening match. And in Durand Cup football, Hyderabad beat Chennai in by 3-1 in Imphal. Jamshed would defeat FC Goa 1-0 in Kolkata. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
मुट्ठी भर अंग्रेज और हमारे विशाल देश पर राज करने का स्वप्न देख रहे हैं, पर हम इनके स्वप्न को चकनाचूर कर देंगे।
निकल पड़े स्वाधीनता के पथ भाले, स्वतंत्रता संग्राम की सुनी अनसुनी कहानियों के साथ स्वराज हर रविवार रात 9 बजे डीडी नेशनल पर।
अपने बिजनेस को बढ़ाने के लिए लीजिए आकाशवाणी का सहयोग और दीजिए उसे बुलंदियों के पंख।
आपका बिजनेस लोकल है या राष्ट्रीय, आकाशवाणी देती है उपभोक्ताओं तक पहुंचने का हर विकल्प।
और अब तो आप घर, दफ्तर या दुकान पर बैठे बैठे कर सकते हैं आकाशवाणी के किसी भी केंद्र के लिए विज्ञापनों की बुकिंग।
आकाशवाणी के विभिन्न चैनलों पर विज्ञापन देना सुलभ और सस्ता।
बुकिंग है तो संपर्क करें 8700014242 पर।
8700014242।
Welcome back to the evening news. Veteran Congress leader Ghulam Nabi Azad has resigned from all positions, including primary membership of the Congress party. In a letter addressed to Congress President Sonia Gandhi, Mr. Azad said, with great regret and an extremely heavy heart, he has decided to sever his over half a century old association with the Indian National Congress. He said the leadership should have undertaken a Congress Joro exercise across the country before starting Bharat Joro Yatra. He said 23 leaders who wrote to point out weaknesses were abused, insulted, humiliated and vilified. The Congress has termed Ghulam Nabi Azad's resignation saddening. Briefing the media in New Delhi, party's General Secretary Ajay Makhan said, Mr. Azad has quit the party when Congress is fighting against BJP on the issues of inflation, unemployment and polarization. He added that at this crucial juncture, it was expected of a senior leader like him to support the party on national issues. The Election Commission of India submitted its report to Governor of Jharkhand, Ramesh Bass, on the Office of Profit case of Chief Minister Hemant Soren. Sources in the Governor House confirmed that Jharkhand Governor has been studying the Election Commission report and seeking legal advice on the case. Senior bureaucrats have also been approached by the Governor House on this matter. Meanwhile, Jharkhand Chief Minister Hemant Soren held a meeting of UPA MLAs at his residence in Ranchi amid recent political developments in the state. After the meeting, State Health Minister and Congress MLA Vanna Gupta said the coalition is standing strong.
University Grants Commission UGC has declared 21 universities as fake. In a letter, UGC said that 21 institutions are functioning in self-styled manner across the country, which are not recognized by the Commission. Making the students aware, UGC said that these institutions are not empowered to confer a degree. The UGC said the highest 8 such fake universities are functioning in Delhi and 3 in Uttar Pradesh. It said that the remaining 10 fake universities belong to the states of Karnataka, Maharashtra, Kerala, West Bengal, Orissa, Puducherry and Andhra Pradesh. The 8th edition of International Film Festival of Shimla began at Gaiety Theatre in Shimla today. Our correspondent reports that a total of 86 films will be screened, while 50 directors from India and abroad will be participating in the prestigious event.
During the 3 days film festival, 27 films in the international category, 34 Indian films, 4 Himachali films and 15 national award-winning films will be screened. Films across 17 countries, that is Canada, America, Lebanon, Spain, Iran, Taiwan, Brazil, Iceland, Singapore, Mexico, Australia, Greece, Belgium, Denmark and Russia will be shown. These include documentaries, animation, features and short films. A total of 16 national award-winning films received from Director of Film Festival will also be screened at the festival. A film exhibition organized by National Film Archives of India, Pune will be displayed at the venue, which will help the audience to enhance their knowledge about the film. Movies will also be shown for the prisoners at Kanda Model Central Jail, which will also give them an opportunity to get acquainted with different dimensions of cinema. Sanjeev Sundaryal, AIR News, Shimla.
Over the past 75 years since independence, India's largest public service broadcaster, All India Radio, has been the proverbial storyteller for the 1.3 billion citizens across the country. All India Radio is celebrating 75 years of freedom with the series Azad Bharat Ki Baat Akashvani Ke Saath. It showcases the journey of India since independence in various walks of life through storytelling of All India Radio.
Azad Bharat Ki Baat Akashvani Ke Saath, reliving the journey of India since independence over the last 75 years with All India Radio. From 15th August, the series is being broadcast on All India Radio, 100.1 FM Gold Channel, primetime news bulletins and across all its platforms. Tune in to stay updated with All India Radio.
In today's episode, we bring you the story of Bangladesh Liberation War in 1971, which was won by India's diplomatic strategy and military prowess.
1971 Bangladesh Liberation War was a saga of impeccable military planning and precise execution by India to end decades of atrocities and subjugation of the people of East Pakistan by the Pakistani military junta. The plight of millions of war-ravaged Bengali civilians caused worldwide outrage and alarm. India, which was led by Indira Gandhi, provided substantial diplomatic, economic and military support to Bangladeshi nationalists.
हम इस कोशिश में थे कि किसी न किसी तरह बांग्लादेश में शांति के रास्ते से कोई वहाँ के प्रश्न सुलझाए जा सके और वहाँ की जनता पर जो अत्याचार हैं वो रुके, जिसमें शांति से वो लोग रह सकें और शांति से भारत की जनता भी रह सके और जो शरणार्थी हमारे देश में आए हैं वो वापस वहाँ पे जा सकें। हमने सारी दुनिया को ये बात बताई, लेकिन वो बुनियादी कारण को न देखते हुए दूसरी बातों में लगे।
In the parliamentary discussion on the issue, the then opposition leader Atal Bihari Vajpayee supported Indian government stand.
अध्यक्ष जी, आप मुझे क्षमा करें, कोई ये न कहे कि मैं भावनाओं को उभारना चाहता हूँ। युद्ध है, अगर सीमा पर आक्रमण है तो देश की जनता को युद्ध के प्रयत्नों में जोड़ना होगा। हम उन्माद पैदा न करें, मगर लोगों की देशभक्ति को जगाकर हर एक में ये भाव भरना होगा कि जो काम आप कर रहे हैं उसको ठीक तरह से करिए, मोर्चे पर खड़े रहिए। जवान सीमा के मोर्चे की चिंता करेंगे और हम घरेलू मोर्चे को संभालेंगे। किसी तरह का उपद्रव नहीं होने देंगे, किसी तरह की सांप्रदायिक शांति पैदा नहीं होने देंगे। और अगर पाकिस्तान समझता है धोखे से हमला करके वो हमें गफलत में पकड़ सकता है तो ये पाकिस्तान की भूल है। दुनिया ने देख लिया हमलावर कौन है और अब हमलावर को हमारे जवान मुंह तोड़ उत्तर दे रहे हैं। हम आशा करते हैं कि इतिहास को बदलने की इस घड़ी का दायित्व जिनके हाथों में और प्रधानमंत्री संकट की घड़ी में देश को नेतृत्व देने के लिए सामने आ रही हैं। हम चाहते हैं ये देश विजयी हो और प्रधानमंत्री के नेतृत्व में हम एक नए इतिहास का निर्माण करेंगे।
India joined the war on 3rd December 1971 after Pakistan launched preemptive airstrikes on North India. The subsequent Indo-Pakistani war witnessed engagements on two war fronts, with air supremacy achieved in the Eastern Theatre and the rapid advance of Indian military. Pakistan surrendered in Dhaka on 16 December 1971 in what remains to date the largest surrender of soldiers since the Second World War. Field Marshal Sam Manekshaw was the Chief of the Army Staff during the Bangladesh Liberation War.
It was heartwarming to watch General Manekshaw, the Chief of Army Staff, bring a word of cheer to his wounded Jawans who have just returned from Chamb and are now in a military hospital in New Delhi.
ठीक है, कौन सी यूनिट है तेरी? फोर जाट। चम में लड़ाई किया, बहुत दुश्मन को मारा, शाबाश, जल्दी जल्दी तगड़ा हो जा, फिर जब मौका मिलूगा। कहाँ का रहने वाला तू? मेरठ का। मेरठ का, शाबाश। क्या हो गया? गोली लग गया? कितनी? मुझे तो पहले 9 लगी थी, मैं भी देख तगड़ा हो गया, चीफ बन गया, तू भी बन जाएगा, शाबाश।
All India Radio played a major role during the war, which lasted for 12 days, covering every incident, including the surrender of Pakistani troops.
आजाद भारत की बात आकाशवाणी के साथ can be accessed on Twitter at its handle AIR News Alerts, on YouTube channel News on AIR Official, News on AIR app, Facebook and Instagram handles. So tune in to All India Radio News for Azad Bharat Ki Baat Akashvani ke saath.
Tibetan spiritual leader Dalai Lama today arrived in New Delhi from Ladakh. The Dalai Lama is visiting the national capital after a gap of over 3 years. During over a month-long sojourn in Ladakh, the Dalai Lama visited several religious and worship places of different communities in the region. Pakistan government today officially declared a national emergency in wake of the rain-induced floods, which have so far killed 937 people and left at least 30 million people without shelter. According to media reports, the abnormal increase in rainfall has generated flash floods across the country, particularly in the southern part of Pakistan. Country's National Disaster Management Authority, NDMA, in a statement said, Sindh and Balochistan are the worst hit regions. Earlier, Pakistan had urged to the international community to help with the relief efforts.
In Afghanistan, at least 180 people have been killed this month due to floods in the central and eastern Afghan provinces in the recent weeks. According to media reports, flooding has wrought widespread devastation and washed away thousands of houses and exacerbated the country's economic and humanitarian crisis. Taliban spokesman Zabiullah Mujahid said the Islamic Emirate is unable to manage the floods alone, due to which they are appealing the international organizations and countries to help Afghanistan. The Taliban spokesman further said more than 3,100 houses had been completely destroyed and thousands of livestock also killed. In Ethiopia, Tigrayan forces in northern part of the country said the federal government conducted fresh airstrikes in the region's capital, Mekelle. Tigray television, affiliated with the Tigray People's Liberation Front, TPLF, showed images of a destroyed building and said civilians were killed in the strikes. But a statement released by the government's communications office said people in Tigray should stay away from areas where the TPLF's military equipment and training facilities were located. The UN World Food Programme, WFP, said its 8 convoys were unable to reach Tigray, where the conflict erupted in November 2020, leaving millions in urgent need of food aid.
The Sensex and the Nifty today posted marginal gains. Both stock indices added amid positive cues from the global share markets. The Sensex finished above 58,800 points, while the Nifty settled above 17,550 level. A report from the business desk.
Sensex rose by 59 points or 0.1% to finish at 58,834, while Nifty added 36 points or 0.21% to end at 17,559. At the foreign exchange market, the rupee appreciated marginally by 1 paise to 79 rupees and 87 paise against the US dollar. At the multi-commodity exchange, gold futures for October was trading at 51,400 rupees per 10 grams. Silver futures for September was trading at 55,565 rupees per kilogram when reports last came in. And oil prices rose more than 1%. Brent crude oil was trading at $100.55 per barrel. Arjun Chaudhary, AIR News.
In cricket, the Asia Cup 2022 kicks off tomorrow with the opening match between Sri Lanka and Afghanistan in Dubai. The match will begin at 7:30 p.m. Indian time. Defending champions India will kickstart its campaign against arch-rivals Pakistan on Sunday. The continental event, which will be played in the T20 format, was earlier set to take place in Sri Lanka, but the economic crisis in the country saw the tournament being shifted to United Arab Emirates. The Gulf nation will be hosting the event across two venues, Dubai International Cricket Stadium and the Sharjah Cricket Stadium. The event features 6 teams divided into 2 groups at the start. In the respective groups, the teams will be playing each other once. The top 2 teams from both the groups will then advance to the Super Fours, where all the 4 teams will be playing once again against each other. The final will take place on 11 September. All India Radio will broadcast ball-by-ball commentary of the tournament in Hindi and English. The commentary will be available on the national hookup.
In Durand Cup football, Hyderabad defeated Chennai by 3-1 at Kuman Lampak Stadium in Imphal. In the other match, Jamshedpur defeated FC Goa 1-0 at Salt Lake Stadium in Kolkata. In badminton, pair of Chirag Shetty and Satvik Sairaj Ranki Reddy entered the men's double semi-final of World Championships in Tokyo. The Indian pair defeated Japan's Yugo Kobayashi and Takuro Hoki 24-22, 15-21, 21-14 in the quarterfinals. With the win, they scripted history after securing India's first men's doubles medal in the championship. However, Indian shuttler H.S. Pranoy was knocked out of the tournament after losing to Zhao Junping of China in the men's singles quarterfinal match. Men's doubles pair of Arjun and Dhruv Kapila also lost to Indonesians Hendra Setiawan and Mohammad Ehsan.
Maharashtra government has announced increase in cash rewards for its athletes who won medals at the recently concluded Commonwealth Games. Addressing a press conference in Mumbai, Sports and Youth Affairs Minister Girish Mahajan said the rewards have been increased by almost 5 times so as to encourage athletes and attract youngsters towards sports. Accordingly, gold medalists from the state will be awarded 50 lakh rupees, silver medalists will get 30 lakh and bronze winners will get 20 lakh rupees. Similarly, the coaches of gold medalists will receive 12.5 lakh, for silver medalists 7.5 lakh and for bronze medalists 5 lakh rupees. Now let us take a look at the weather forecast for tomorrow. National capital Delhi is expected to have strong surface winds during the daytime. The minimum temperature will be 26 degrees Celsius while a maximum of around 34 degrees. Mumbai is likely to have gently cloudy sky with light rain or drizzle. Kolkata is expected to have gently cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rain or thunder showers. Chennai will witness partly cloudy sky with possibility of moderate rain or thunderstorm. Srinagar is expected to have gently cloudy sky with light rain. Muzaffarabad will experience thunderstorm with rain between 22 and 27 degrees Celsius. Jammu will have thunderstorm with rain. Leh will have gently cloudy sky with possibility of rain or thunderstorm or dust storm. Gilgit will have gently cloudy sky with possibility of rain or thunderstorm or dust storm. Imphal, Aizawl, Shillong, Gangtok, Kohima and Itanagar will have gently cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rain or thunder showers. And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to embark on a 2-day visit to Gujarat from tomorrow to inaugurate several development projects. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh holds bilateral talks with Tanzanian counterpart Dr. Stergomena Lawrence Tax in New Delhi. Asserts India-Tanzania partnership will continue to grow over coming decades. Agriculture Minister Narendra Singh Tomar asks agriculture graduates to work towards bringing change in the lives of farmers. Government making necessary policy changes to strengthen MSME sector, says Union Minister Dr. Jitendra Singh. Centre conducts door-to-door screening for tuberculosis in over 68,000 tribal villages under Ashwasan campaign. Justice U.U. Lalit to assume charge as Chief Justice of India tomorrow. Veteran Congress leader Ghulam Nabi Azad resigns from primary membership of party. UGC declares 21 universities as fake, highest number of fake institutions functioning in Delhi. In cricket, Asia Cup kicks off in Dubai tomorrow. Sri Lanka to take on Afghanistan in the opening match. And in Durand Cup football, Hyderabad beat Chennai by 3-1 in Imphal. Jamshedpur beat FC Goa 1-0 in Kolkata. And with that we end the evening news. Good night.